Hello everyone, welcome to the video presentation of Research in Computing module. My name is Shazib Suhail. I'm from National College of Ireland, pursuing my Masters in Data Analytics. So my topic for research proposal would be HR Analytics Candidate Filtering using Machine Learning. So the basic understanding of HR would be like sourcing more and more employees towards a task or into an organization to enhance the productivity or to maintain the productivity basically. So the main source would be of hiring people and hiring the right candidate. So with respect to related work in HR analytics, there are various researches where we have found that we can evaluate the performance of each and every candidate who is performing in an organization. For example, when there is appraisal, so when there's hike, you can consider these are the viable candidates who can stand up and represent the organization and would be up to the mark. We'll be using machine learning on HR analytics to solve the basic problems. So why I chose candidate filtering is because when you schedule a walk-in interview and at times few candidates show up, few don't. So to have a filter on this, we can introduce machine learning. Let's go ahead and see how we can solve the problem of the candidate. Introduction to HR analytics. HR analytics helps us in decisions on series of employee or outcome of an event, considering the human resource management process. Here, the event would be if a candidate would show up to the interview or not. How does machine learning help in this? Machine learning can help in automating this process or getting insights from many HR related processes. There are various fields like sales and marketing who have job opportunities in India. Like they're available throughout the year based on the organization's projects or their work pending, because they would have to get the employees to work on their projects and you know give their clients equal amount of productivity as they're expecting. So filtering candidate based on the event of attendance for interview can be classified using machine learning. So our basic problem here would be a classification problem. So once we have identified the problem, we would know how can machine learning solve this. So machine learning can further be divided into two categories, that is supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Machine learning, how does machine learning actually solve this problem? Machine learning uses a few statistical techniques to solve complex issues. It's also used to find some patterns in the data set, that how it's moved and how the outcome will be. So, as I've mentioned before, the problem is to classify the attendance outcome of a candidate optimally using machine learning. Machine learning is broadened with the use of various algorithms based on their functionality can solve these problems. If you go into algorithms, there are many ways you can classify the problem. For example, using a decision tree, using a naive Bayesian classifier, and many other more. If you just read about the classification problems, you can go on and on and on with the algorithms. So based on a few past related researches, we have seen that support vector machines have performed very well in identifying if a candidate you know is viable for that opportunity. Like for example, identifying who's the right candidate for replacing a senior position and many other things. Brief discussion of related work is provided in the research proposal. So what we'll be doing here is we will be predicting the outcome. So the predictor variable will be observed attendance. So on what basis do we observe the attendance? There are different factors like education level of the candidate, his marital status, you know, how far is the how far is his home from the work location, is what was his previous salary, what is his expected salary, and what is the salary that the organization can provide. Keeping these outcomes in our mind, we can predict if a candidate is really interested to attend that interview and gain the job or not. So, solution to this problem, we'll be using a supervised learning approach to solve this classification problem. So, which are the so to get the answers of the predictor variable, we need to know which features are actually relevant, in predicting the outcome of this event. So we'll be performing a statistical technique called principal component analysis to get the features which are affecting the predictor variable drastically. The steps on how you can, modelize or design an algorithm to solve this problem would be, you would have a data set which is provided by HR Analytics. You would split them into test and train. You know, the training data set will be used to train the algorithm, okay, and the testing data set would not have the observations. The model will actually predict the observations based on what it's learned previously. So based on the results of the testing data set, the model evaluation can be given. In more technical terms, we would use confusion metrics to evaluate the performance of the model. What is the approach? We check for class balancing. What is class balancing? So our problem is a binary classification problem. Whether the candidate has come for the interview or the candidate does not come for the interview. So we would check for in the data set what is the split of class balancing. Is it 60-40? Is it 30-20? Based on that, sorry, not 30-20, it's 80-20, 60-40. So based on the class balancing, we would split the data set into test and train. We would train the model on the training data set, then test the model again. Based on the answers, performance evaluation can be calculated by forming confusion metrics. Different comparison parameters like accuracy, recall can be calculated to compare which model is better. To solve this problem, we have chosen two algorithms based on the related work, which is support vector machines and artificial neural networks. So why do we want to predict the accuracy? For instance, we have 10 candidates who are scheduled for an interview. So what happens if the model predicts there will be only 5 who will be coming? So we'll eventually have a loss of 4 candidates, right? So having a higher accuracy would actually help the organization in filtering actual candidates who are interested in taking up this opportunity. So, what are the challenges faced? Maybe the class balancing. The class from each instance must be divided into train and test split for the model to learn effectively. So, I would like to have a good ratio in the data set and then split them so that the model trains on both the classes on why the candidate did not come. If he's attended the interview, why did he attend the interview? Is his house closer to the work location, or is the salary way more than his previous salary, or is his education at a very low level, not an advanced level? Reduction of noise in data. We can see there might be very noise. There might be different factors in the data which would act as a barrier in predicting the target variable. So we need to rectify them. So based on the class balancing, we would perform a cross-validation fold. More details about what actually cross-validation fold means is provided in the research proposal. Cross-validation fold will be used to get the best instances to train the model and to test the model so that we have the best accuracy and the performance metric when we reach the end of our results. So that's the end of my research proposal video presentation.